Okay, good morning, everybody. Sorry for the delay in getting started this morning. Had some technical issues. Wasn't sure if it was my internet or if it was Xbox Live was playing up. It took me several tries to get signed in to the sim. I had to reboot my Xbox a couple times. Finally, everything fell into place, and here we are. So, running a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay. Um, anyway, happy Wednesday. Happy last Wednesday of 2022. I am your host and pilot, Uncle B. As always, we are back in the Euchre's 52, continuing our journey across America, making our way east, northeast, southeast. We're heading east, back east after going around the lower parts of America and lower states up the west coast, and now we're heading back towards New York. Um, Bit of a flight today. It says 3 hours 47. I don't think we're going to use all that time. I think we'll get there. Uh, we have three major, well, we have 100, one of our legs will be 124 nautical miles, one will be 86 nautical miles, and one is 110. So, but we'll try to get there below 4 hours, well below 3 hours and 47 minutes. So we have 365 nautical miles to travel today. We have 1 year to travel. I don't think this year was a leap year, was it? I don't remember. Anyway, so we're going to take off from runway 26 here in Phifer, Wheatland. We're going to take a right and head towards our first navigation aid there, a VORDME. Then we're going to go right again. Go towards our VORTAC. Continue VORDME, and then all the way up to Bismarck here. And there's a VORDME there, and we'll call in for landing as we get close to that one. We should be able to call in and land it on runway 31. Okay. Already got the weather changed to a few clouds, so we won't fly with the live weather. That was a bit much on Monday, but we made it. We got to Phifer. We made it out of the mountains and whatnot. So yeah, we'll get started here in a moment. We'll give everybody time to come in and say hello and hang out. And all that good stuff. Get your snacks, your drinks, your coffee, your hot cocoa, your whatever. And once we're in the air, we'll talk like we normally do. We'll have some conversations and kind of go over some stuff that happened on. I don't know about yesterday. I guess you could say maybe yes. I don't know. Anyway, got a lot. We got some stuff to talk about. So now's the time to say hello before I get started. Because as soon as I spawn in, I get a little bit busy and it's hard to focus on the chat. So this is the time to say hello. Oh, I know what I was going to say real quick. Um, while I picked up a couple more followers, thanks to Scruffy Tam. So hey, hello, Spider Steve. How are you? So Kaharia followed me yesterday. Thank you so much for the follow. I've been following Kaharia for some time. For those of you who follow Scruffy Tam, know Kaharia, especially Kaharia's mom, who knits Scruffy some socks that he features on his stream. Whenever somebody does a sock command, he has a camera showing his socks, and he'll show the socks of the day. Hello, Joseph. I'm fine, thank you. Just a little bit behind because we had some technical issues this morning, but it's okay. It's all sorted now. So thank you, Kaharia, for the follow. I've been following her for a while. I kind of lurk in her streams whenever I do go watch. She does a matter of fact, I'll give her a shout out. she's been doing a flight around the world in the Spitfire. So go check her out. She's pretty awesome from what I've watched. Um, so yeah, she does this. She's doing a flight around the world in the Spitfire. I'm not sure where exactly she is in that flight, but go check her out. And JP Navigator followed also uh, the other day. So thank you for that. I'm not sure if JP streams or not. I didn't get a chance to look. I don't think. But I had to go give Kahari a follow. I think she's Austrian, so but she does speak English, I think, in her streams, but she's bilingual, I do believe. So um, so yeah, go check her out. So thank you for the follows. We are at 199 followers, and once we're in the air, we're gonna talk. Uh, we yeah. I don't know. I've been through. I've flown through parts of this. I know. Let's see where. I know I've flown through Minneapolis before. Uh, driven kind of through here. Uh, yeah, that's not bad. It should be very scenic. Either way, whether we have the okay, so yes, the goal. Well, we'll talk about that and then we'll get started here on. We'll spawn in and get going. Um, so one of the things that Scruff was talking about. Now Scruffy Tam did the Cannonball Run Monday morning into Sunday morning, or Monday into Tuesday. I'm sorry, Monday morning into Tuesday morning. He flew 22 hours. He streamed the entire thing. He didn't stop and take a nap or anything. He thought about it, but he wanted to do it all in one shot. And when he landed, he was in fourth place. But anyway, he was talking about goals. One of the things he was talking about, I was in and out of the room when he was talking, but he talked about setting reasonable goals as a streamer. And oh, I didn't even realize that. Oh, yep, you're right. I'm like, wait, yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, we'll fly a little bit south of it, but yeah, but a little bit below. But okay. But anyway, one of the things that he's been talking about is he's affiliate, but he'd like to make partner, but he's not putting a date, for that to take place. And so I kind of I thought about that, and I was like, I'm close to it. It just I need 75 viewers at one time, one day. Doesn't whenever it is, that's all I need. And then because I generally make uh the other things happen, right? The hours of streaming and um um the and the number of days streamed, but it's just the number of viewers in one on one particular day whatever I stream. So yeah, that's the goal for next year. Whenever it happens, if it does, that'd be great. If it doesn't, it's fine as well. I'm not gonna be disappointed or upset or whatever. It's just something I'd like for it to happen. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's perfectly fine. So, and in order to facilitate running in my Discord the other day, um, the longer streams do seem to draw in more viewers, and I struggle with that because initially when I was streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, and unfortunately on YouTube, what was happening was um, the streams were drawing in a lot of people who were just there just to talk nonsense. They weren't there to uh, you know ask reasonable questions or anything like that. So but maybe we're gonna do a flight from San Francisco to Tokyo in the Dreamliner. That's going to be about 11 hours. That's going to be a monumental thing for me, but we'll see if we can do it. So we'll see if we can get that done, but that won't be until possibly January 7th. So, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. I'm going to go ahead and spawn in here and get our VOR, our first VOR dialed in. Oops, that's not what I want. It always hovers over that. I don't get it. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do this. We'll get our time set and then and all that. Should be fine right there. And let's get 115. 75. Yet. Sorry, let's get these other lights off. And you can just go ahead and put this thing in. There's that. Oh, oh, somebody else is here? Who else is here with me? Oh, Spider Steve is, I believe. I think. I can't see a name tag, so. Let's see who's. Yep, okay. All right. Let's get the map. And I think we are all set. Yep. All right, let's go. First heading to 333. And away we go. Should be set. Yep. Climb out a little bit and we'll hang a right. Wow. This thing is... I think my co-pilot's asleep this morning. I know what I forgot to do. All right. There we go. We're on our way. These off. Hello, Bex. Well, good afternoon to you. Good morning to me. I had to look. I was like, wait a minute, it's not afternoon yet. If it is, boy, it's... something's not right with the sun here today. Maybe check the time. I was like, well, I know I was a little bit late, but I don't think I was that late. Once we're in the right direction. I don't think we have to really worry about the mountains today. Nice. Nice Spider Steve, yeah. Somebody flew with in the acoustic flew in the DC-3 on Monday with me. I was on my way to Phifer. I think we should be okay today. We're not, should be only a few low areas there that we might have to worry about, but I think otherwise we're going to be fine. All right. So yeah, that was a very interesting game. Thereabouts that you and Amy were playing the other night. Not the sort of game I would have expected either of you to be playing, to be honest. But it was interesting. Joseph, you're right. Something new. I tried some of those horror sort of survival games. I think I tried, what's it called? Resident Evil once. And, I was saying it wasn't the game I was expecting you and Amy to play. I mean, it's different. You know, it's new, like Joseph said. I agree. It was something new. But it wasn't a game that I would have thought that you guys would have played together. But it was interesting. Just not. What I was saying is I tried the horror survival / puzzle solving game before. Not that particular one, but in the past, and it's just like it's not my thing. But some people enjoy them. So yeah, it was different. The only thing I think though, games like that, and it does kind of when like the puzzle solving aspect of it. It's interesting to see how quickly people will start to swear at one another, and the finger pointing and all that is it's just a game, but it's like interesting how quickly people will start to fall apart when something doesn't go the way they you're like running around trying to find the numbers to open a door or something, for instance. But you kind of got onto Amy about, well, you were supposed to remember the numbers, and Amy's kind of like, oh, I don't give a shit, you know, I what do the numbers matter to me? I don't care, but no, it was interesting. It was interesting, but I always find that part more fascinating. The what do you call it? The psychological aspect of that part, where as soon as the puzzle doesn't solve, or you have to go back and find information because somebody didn't remember information, and how quickly people start to kind of snipe at one another. Yeah, I know you do. I know. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it is a very heavy sort of, just thinking about that. I was watching, Captain Arge played the first Last of Us game. He's been streaming that over on YouTube, and it's a very, I've never played it before, and I've never really watched anybody, but he got emotional last night because parts of it are very heavy emotionally, and it got to him, and that's the amazing part about a game, when you feel an emotion because of something a character says or does or whatever. It does have, it should have that impact, and it should kind of sit with you, and that feeling doesn't go away sometimes, because you're just like, wow, whoever wrote just that one piece of dialogue hit the nail on the head, and I felt the impact of what the person was saying, the character. Um, but he did try to have a laugh after on. Good morning, Nick. How are you? Nice to see you here. Um, but yeah, it's important to have a laugh because you have to in the face of you're dealing with an unknown, this character whose face you couldn't really see, and you're forced to make choices. I did Google it, and I did read a bit about the game because I'd never heard of it before, and it's interesting the choices that you have to make along the way. You know, it can take a toll on you, and yeah, it's good to have a laugh. But yeah, boy, there was one part in Last of Us that he got, and he's played it before, and it's interesting that even when you know something's coming up, it still has an impact on you, no matter how many times you play the game. It'll still make you feel a certain way. All right, we have 16, just under 17 nautical miles. But yeah, it was interesting. But I think too, like whenever it was a real life thing, uh, if you're trying to solve a problem to escape, and if somebody's not doing their part, you basically feel like, well, if if you're not going to do your part here, then I'm going to do it, and I'm going to leave you behind, and so be it, kind of thing. But it's interesting that there's not a choice for that. Like, if you felt Amy's character, for instance, wasn't helping you enough that you could say, well, you know what, I'll figure it out, and I'm going, and adios. So yeah, that's get a picture here real quick. Pictures. Oops. Uh-oh. I know what I didn't do. Oops, let's try that again. Let's do this one. We're going to go from the outside view without all the stuff in the way. Have to get deleted. There we go. All right. Nope, I totally screwed that up. All right, let's get back to the left here. Left. Hey. But yeah, really fantastic. I listened, watched Scruffy do that cannonball run on one day throughout the day, and then I got up. I heard him. I had Twitch on my phone, or I have Twitch on my phone, so I was listening to him more than watching because I had my phone plugged in, but I just wanted to be able to listen. And so it was about almost 4 in the morning here, and he landed at the last airport before he was heading to LAX, which was the final destination for the Cannonball Run. And so I got up, turned on the Xbox, fired everything up, loaded in, flew with him on the last leg, which was amazing. And and that was about almost 2 hours of flying. But yeah, it was fantastic to see him to do that all in one sitting. And there was people who were in. They said the SR-22 was the aircraft of choice because it was a little bit faster, had a little better fuel mileage, and all that. Yeah, it was great. So hats off to him for doing all that in one sitting. So, oh, I think the ads are playing right now. Apologize if the ads are on and you can't hear me talk. So I'll wait till the ads clear out. Alright, 11230. Zero 038. Sure we can set this. Head on. Good morning, Ellison. Okay, Maxie. Well, thank you. I don't know why you would hope that, but I don't get that. But thank you for coming in and saying that. Appreciate it. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy last Wednesday of 2022. Hopefully your 2023 is less miserable for you, eh? How are you, Allison? Nice to see you here. Watched most of your flight yesterday. Yeah, that plane, I was wondering if, I'm glad you've been flying it because I've been thinking about it, and when I saw it said it had an autopilot system, but I was curious what sort of system was that, or is it? 11230. Which I see now. It's almost like it seems like the one in uh the almost like a gyro thing or something. But I thought it was interesting that it doesn't really go the way you expect it to. Because it'll make the aircraft climb up. The pitch is all goofed up. Okay, it's heading hold and alt hold. Okay. Yeah, because some of those are very unintuitive when you're trying to get it to work. It doesn't seem like it wants to go the way you expect it to go, and it's almost like a lot of trial and error to get it to work. But anyway, yeah. But it's an interesting looking plane for sure. Yeah, I'm in slow mode. I put it because sometimes I don't always have um, a moderator in the chat, so I try to keep a slow mode on so I can try to catch some of the stuff in the. Oh, okay. Yeah, because that way I try to keep an idea of, or I can see the chat a little bit better. But also, if somebody's coming in and acting up, and none of my mods are available, that I can deal with it myself. So, because they have things to do, and let me make sure I'm on the right heading. Oh, I am. 038. Not 338. There we go. Oh, okay. Gotcha. But yeah, because my mods, I got two mods, and sometimes neither one can be here for various reasons. So yeah, I just try to keep an eye on the chat and fly at the same time. But yeah, it's an interesting plane. It's on my wish list, but I was just like, I don't know. I wasn't too sure about it, but I don't know. I may wait to see if there's any updates, forthcoming on it to maybe improve it a little bit better. But I know typically developers for aircraft like that, they usually do put in an electronic flight bag that does have a rudimentary autopilot in it, which I'm surprised that doesn't have. But maybe maybe in the future it will. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I don't have all that fancy stuff yet. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that too, where they try to make it as real as possible, uh, but it does help sometimes if you have like the Spitfire and the Lightning and the Hellcat all have the EFB with has a very rudimentary autopilot system. That does help because sometimes, especially on the Xbox, trying to fly the Spitfire manually with the controller is just, oh my goodness, my thumb gets tired very quickly. But yeah. Yeah, it was good stuff. I do like, if more stuff like that comes to the sim, I think it's fantastic because that golden age of aviation, like the 1920s, 1930s sort of thing, you know, the design of the aircraft I think is absolutely amazing. Let's see, we have 114 nautical miles to go, which I think is our first of our three long legs here. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out today. Nice to see you all here. I'll tell you, stuff is running slow today, and I don't know. I think it's live. It is running slow today. You're en route to Evra. EVRA. Nice. EVRA. That sounds like somewhere in Europe. I don't know where exactly. E is UK, Germany, Paris, or France, I should say. Germany, France. Oh, Europe. Okay, nice. 800E. Boy, PMDG's is killing it with the 737 stuff. I feel like I need to practice more with the A310 just to have some, because, when the time comes to get the 737s, I feel like I'm going to be way behind the curve doing jetliner flights with that. Yeah, I was surprised when I was looking at I'm thinking about doing a long haul flight from San Francisco to Tokyo, and no airline flies the 747 on that route anymore. Thank you, Soko. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, the Ubers 52. It was the first Local Legends, I think, that was released on the sim. Of the one so far, I own this one and the Fokker F7B, and I prefer this one over the Fokker. Although hopefully the Fokker gets a overhaul here next year. But yeah, I quite enjoy it. this is the retrofit model, which has some more navigation stuff. All this is part of the retrofit. All this little console part right here, and then the you got these extra dials and everything, and you have this little handy dandy DME tracker that tells you your distance to your next VOR, DME, or VORTAC. So, and then this is new. This is part of the update that came out a few weeks back. This little, and you don't have to have it on. You can hide it if you don't want to use it. But it's just handy to have the map to help with navigating sometimes. But yeah, it's thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. We're now over the hump. We hit 200. Thank you. So yeah, next year I'm thinking 1, maybe 2 long distance flights on a Saturday, just to kind of I know during the week, especially once everybody goes back to school and work, the viewer count goes down. Because I start in the morning, and most people are either getting ready to work, go to work, or getting ready for school, and and all that. So, and then not people do want to fly with me, but they can't because of time issues or whatever. But maybe that would give people an opportunity if they wanted to fly that whole route, or they want to only go part way. Whatever works for you. Because I know, like, Scruff was, after a while, he had, the hard part is when you're streaming, you got to get up and move around, because otherwise your legs start to hurt, your feet start to hurt, plus eating, you got to eat, and I know part of the time he was still streaming, but he would turn off his camera and his mic so he could eat real quick. But yeah, it's a huge thing to do all that, and try to take care of yourself plus stream. That's and Allison, luckily Allison has a good support crew near her, so that for food and drinks and stuff like that. But when you're by yourself, it's a bit more difficult to do all that. You got to get up and whether you got to make something or you got to order food or whatever, you got to take regularly scheduled breaks. Otherwise, you'll start to lose your focus and all that. So. Yeah, we're doing pretty good on this flight today. Monday's flight was a bit hectic because we had the live weather on, and it was just so cloudy. We had a few spots that weren't, but generally it was a bit difficult, for sure. Yeah, we're holding steady here at 10,500, roughly. Deal with that. I like it. And we have, on this leg, we are 95, almost 94 nautical miles to our second navigation aid. I do believe. Yeah. Well, you guys were supposed to get another winter storm, weren't you, Allison? some more snow or something. We've we've been it's funny, everybody uh messages me, oh, how's the weather? I've seen this on the news, and oh, it's like, look, that's in a different part of New York. It's not where I am. And but thank you for the concern. But I said, trust me, if it was that bad, because it would be very out of the ordinary for the weather to be that bad here where I live in New York, I'd be taking pictures, I'd be shooting video, all kinds of stuff. I'd be like, yeah, this is terrible. So no, we've got maybe a couple inches of snow so far. It's been cold enough it just ices up, like all the standing water there in the parking lot of my apartment complex is all ice. So they've been doing a really terrible job keeping the parking lot clear, because all it's going to take is somebody's going to walk and slip, and they're going to sue the heck out of the property management or the property owner. Same thing on the sidewalks are clear. They did do that, which they have to do. But yeah, if in here in the parking lot area somebody's walking towards the trash dumpster, it slips on the ice, boy, they're gonna be a lawsuit from hell on that one. They usually used to do a pretty good job keeping the parking lot clear, but doing the little walkways in the back of the back part here of the complex are not completely free of ice. And some people try to keep it clear themselves. But that's not their responsibility. Because again, if they get injured doing that, the property management could be liable for that, I do believe, this too. So hold on a second. I gotta blow the nose here. So we'll be back tomorrow morning, the usual time, barring any other we're doing another flight along the Route 66. And that is leg should be leg 12, I think. 13. Leg 12. Leg staff to Kingman. Two parts. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be a long flight on tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out what I may fly the SR-22. We haven't flown it on the stream in a while. We may just do that. Yeah, the Cirrus SR-22 will be the aircraft of choice tomorrow. Friday's flight A319 United Airlines flight departing from Chicago, landing in Newark Liberty. Got all the information for that. Aircraft, the livery, the flight number, the gate that we're going to be departing from there in Chicago. I tell you, I was having a heck of a time trying to find the gate for when I was looking up the flight for San Francisco to Tokyo for All Nippon Airways or Airlines. They say that they departed from Terminal I, which I was like, Terminal I? When has there been a Terminal I ever constructed at San Francisco? Where did they put it? You know? And so I had to look, and it turns out that it was on the Terminal G, which is, they're all international terminals. It's just that that's where that flight originated from. So I was like, why would they call it Terminal I? It's Terminal G. Hey, Scruffy, how are you? How's the recovery from your epic journey going? That was fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. To do it all in one sitting. Whew. That was phenomenal. I know I would have I probably would have fallen asleep at least halfway through. Or saying, yeah, we're gonna land here, sleep for a few hours, and then get back up and keep going. Yeah, that was fantastic, and I'm glad. Oh, I tell you, I was like laying there when I heard you say that you were at your last airport before, it was KEED in Needles, California, and I was like, okay, I should get up and fly. Then part of me was like, no, just stay in bed. Part was like, no, I really I want to fly with Scruff at least at some part of this journey. And if I don't do it now, I'll feel bad. But yeah, after I got done and turned off the Xbox, I went back to bed and didn't get back up till like 10:30 later that morning. So yeah, I was tired. I think it's because I had you on the phone and I was listening and all that. And so I wasn't sleeping probably very well because of that, but that's all right. I was glad to. Yeah, well, because it was kind of like that last push of trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Getting over that last bit of the hump there to make it, and I was surprised. I didn't think because you were like, I came in 11th because the tracker was saying something different, but I don't know. Maybe the people that were ahead of you. Yeah, I can imagine you. I'm sure you were pretty wiped out. So I was like, when I saw you lining up on the taxiways instead of the runway, I was like, oh no, Scruff, what are you doing? But I know it's easy. You're tired and you see the lights and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna land here. But you were kind of off the runway there, either side. You were right down. You split the runways right down the middle. But yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's just when you're tired, you're just like, I just want to get home. I just want to land and call it a day. And yeah, it's easy, airport that large, it might be easy to kind of or pick the wrong thing. I know I've done it before. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna land here, and I'm like, wait a second, that's not the runway. That's the taxiway. Oops. Because sometimes from the air, as you're coming in, it's easy to line up, especially if you don't have like the guidelines. It's easy to line up on a taxiway by accident. So, but yeah, that was amazing stuff. And I saw I'm gonna do it. I may do it later today, or yeah, maybe after lunch or something. I may do that. I saw you have that route for Ava, so I may hop in an A320 and do that real quick later today. Get that out. I was looking at the achievement stuff, so yeah. But yeah, I think the timing of that couldn't have been better because you were off from work. You had the time to do it, and you got the time to recover as well, instead of like, oh, I got to go back to work the next day and all that. But yeah, that was oof. I know that it was brutal for a while, especially you were starting to ice up and all that. So yeah, yeah. Looking forward to some more challenges, and I saw what Oz put in the Discord about. Yeah, that'll be my first achievement. Well, I've gotten one under, I think just under uh, FS Hub itself. I flew from one place to another, and it gave me an achievement, but it doesn't. The weird thing is, it doesn't show that I have an achievement on my profile. But if I go in and look at under Firefly Air, I don't think it was an airline specific thing. It was just, I thought it was under FS Hub itself, but maybe it was a Firefly thing. But it doesn't show that I have an achievement. Like that little, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the tough part. I was like, how even you try to go farther south of the Rockies, and it was still, the weather was kind of bad. So yeah, you had a lot of icy conditions and all that. But yeah, that was a lot of fantastic flying there. All right, 66 nautical miles to go to our second navigation aid, the Vortac there by Rapid City. Or crap, as Spider Steve so eloquently put. But yeah, that was good stuff. Good flying, good navigating. Good looking out ahead to try to think of a different route to go to try to minimize the icing. And I think Angry got 500 followers last night or yesterday afternoon, evening time. Yeah. I think who was it that rated him? But yeah, he finally got over the 500 follower mark. Was it that rated him? I forget. It was. Who was it that rated him? He got rated by somebody. And I was there. I just happened to come in because somebody had gifted me a sub on his channel. And I was just there. I just come in to say thank you, and I was watching. They were coming in. It was right towards the tail end of the stream, and so yeah, he got rated. I think it was Forder. So yeah, he got 500 followers yesterday. He was at 485, I think, when I popped in. Enough people followed, so that was good for him. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he had a heck of approach coming in. I forget where he was landing, but he was getting a little emotional, and, but I tell you, Sergeant Staff was flying with him like in a, I don't know if it was like the Cessna Citation, one of the business jets, and he made it. He did a pretty awesome flying job in a plane that he normally doesn't fly. His landing was spot on. Yeah, I didn't have my laptop open. I closed it. I was like eating, I think, and watching some TV, and then I just happened to open up my laptop because I was thinking about I was trying to kind of plan out if I'm going to do this flight from San Francisco to Tokyo. So I was trying to get ready to look up some information on that. And I just happened to open up the screen that had my separate one for all the, where I watch Twitch for anybody that I follow. And then I just saw this message thing, and I was just like, what is that? And so I looked at it and said I had a gifted sub over on Angry's channel. So, let me go check out what's going on. Say thanks to the person who gave it to me. Yeah, I'd say those gifted subs. Well, you were rocking the gifted subs there for a while, thanks to Devil Dog and quite a few other people in your stream the other day. It's fantastic. Oh, 55. Cruising along here. Let's pop out. Oh, Spider Steve is there. They're Yinker 52. Yeah. I follow so many people now. It seems like I try to, spend time with everybody, but also what I realize too is when that person has like a ton of viewers, like if I go into Two Tone Murphy's stream, right? I get lost in there because I'm just, he has like hundreds of people usually at any given time, and so even if I say hello, chances are he's probably going to miss it, so yeah, and it is, as more people get popular, it's hard to maintain some sense of you know, acknowledgement that you're there, you know. So, because yeah, usually chat will get very busy, and then it's just, you know, it's hard to say hello because it just gets lost in the sea of messages there in the chat. But yeah, I've been trying. A lot of the people. Oh, yeah, yeah, I know you do, Allison. Yeah, you definitely do. Sometimes I don't have a chance to hang out in people's streams as much. Yeah, yeah, it does help, especially you know, like that's why I put the turned on the subscriber thing. You know, because you know, you do want to acknowledge your subscribers. Uh, so yeah, that highlights their message. Not that everybody else's stuff is unimportant, but yeah, it does have a. Uh, somebody just went live. Oh, Fabio, that's who's live. Yeah. Okay, that's who rated. Not Forder. It was Fabio who rated Angry One Horn yesterday and got him up to 500 followers. Forder, Fabio, they both start with F's. I don't know. I couldn't remember Fabio. I just started. I just thought of that scene in Moneyball where they were talking about bringing Jason Giambi's younger brother Jeremy, or they were talking about something about somebody's. No, it was they were saying, you know, he looks good and he's got a good-looking girlfriend or wife or whatever, and Billy Bean's like, you know, what are we talking about? What does it make any difference? You know, are we looking for Fabio? And the guy's like, who's Fabio? Well, he's the shortstop. And they weren't talking about baseball player. He was talking about the guy who used to be the flowing hair model on. Oh yeah, Fabio. I gotta watch that movie again. Oh. When the old guy's like, who's Fabio? And the guy next to him's like, he's the shortstop, and he named some team or something. Oh boy. I watch that movie every so often. I need to get it on DVD so I can watch it whenever I want. I love it because it's just because well, growing up we went to Oakland A's games, right? I didn't know about the better team on the other side of the bay for many years. So as far as I knew, the only baseball team in the Bay Area was the Oakland A's. Lo and behold, there are the San Francisco Giants. But I remember, well, see, I was in the service when Billy was a player for Oakland, although he didn't stick with them for the year that they made the World Series in '89. But I do recall some of the I was in Arizona for a year when a lot of that stuff was happening. But yeah, I one of my buddies had a T-shirt that says, "I'd rather be a Giants fan than an athletic supporter." I remember the Bash brothers, Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire. I remember Ricky Henderson playing, stealing bases and stuff. A's baseball it was exciting for quite some time, but then it just kind of, it never went anywhere. They'd have a good season here or there, but then they, kind of like what happened with at the beginning of the movie where Giambi, Isringhausen, and Damon all leave, and that's what it was. It's like somebody said, we're the AAA team or the farm team for the rest of the MLB. Especially the Yankees and whatnot. But yeah, we had some interesting years. It always surprised me after a while when I'd watch Jose. I'd go to the stadium to watch a game, and Canseco would just stand out there in right field with his glove off, and just, what is this guy doing? Somebody's at bat. Yeah, very, very strange. Yeah, the stadium used to be packed during those years. It was. But then I started going to Giants games. I'm like, oh, there's a better brand of baseball on the other side of the bay. Who knew? I miss going to baseball games. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. So last night I watched a documentary about Matra racing, which was a French. They were involved like in aerospace stuff, missile designs, and all kinds of stuff, aerospace related. And then they decided to do motorsports racing. So they started like in Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 1, then they went prototype racing and all that. They had, well, at least at the time, they interviewed a lot of the living drivers who, some of them are still alive, like Jackie Stewart, Henri Pescarolo, Derek Bell didn't race for them, but he raced against them, and he was always talking about, man, those years that when Matra was dominating, he said we couldn't win, there was nothing we could do, and then as soon as they quit, we started winning. But it reminded me when I saw Derek Bell talking about the domination of Matra. I got to meet him. It wasn't like, it was kind of a happenstance thing where it just so happened it was a year that he was racing in a touring car series in America for Volvo. Somebody took a S70 and turned it into a touring car racer. And so I think it was like the Speed GT Challenge or something like that. And, I was mainly there because it was the year, it was like in 2005, I went to Infineon or Sears Point, whatever you want to call it. And I never used to really go there. I always preferred going to Laguna Seca. That was, of the two, I would have rather go to Laguna Seca anytime I could, but I went there because it was the race a few weeks after champion Audi had won Le Mans in the R8. It was the last year that the R8 was actually competitive. Not the road car R8 or whatever. It was the prototype R8. And so I was there basically to see them because it was like, American, quote unquote, American team wins Le Mans. And so I'm going through, and they're having autograph sessions, and I'm just going through getting autographs. And at the time, I didn't think about when a driver's name is on the car, or some of the GT teams put, especially if it's only one driver, they put the name on the windshield, not on the side or on the rooftop like most teams do. And so when I saw D Bell, I didn't think it was when it said D Bell, I didn't think of Derek Bell, the famous Porsche racing driver. I just thought maybe it's Don Bell or whatever. And so I'm going through, and I had my Rothman's Porsche t-shirt on. It just said Rothman's Porsche Racing on it has the Rothman's livery on it. And I'm going through, and they're signing like these little picture cards of the driver next to the car or something like that. And he looked up and he said, "Oh, I remember that car." And I looked, I was like, it's the Derek Bell, not any D Bell. It is the. I was like, holy crap! And it, of course, when he says something like that, you're just like, I was like, kind of gobsmacked because I did not expect him to be there. Certainly not in a half put together, like just GT racing sort of thing. It was a support race. Yeah, I was just like, wow. And so I'll never forget that. I was like, oh, yes, sir. It's a fantastic car, fantastic, but I was just like, blah, blah. I might as well just like, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I've seen him since after that. I'd never went up and said hi to him, of course, but I'd see him every so often when I'd go to Amelia Island. He was one of the judges for the car show there. But yeah, absolutely amazing. I'm fortunate. I've met Bobby Ray Hall, for instance. I wish I could. My mom and stepdad have gone to Mario Andretti's winery in Napa. My mom got it was a birthday gift from my stepdad, and so she got it all set, and they went down there. And she said it was so amazing. After, they have dinner there and all that. And she said Mario comes around and spent time at every table, during dinner. And she said, boy, Dave is my stepdad. She said Dave was on cloud nine. He said as soon as Mario sat down, Dave's like, I remember when I saw you at this race. He's just going through Mario's career, all the times that he's seen him racing. And but I've not met Mario. But yeah, Bobby Ray Hall, Hurley Haywood, a lot of the big Tom Christensen, all the big Audi drivers over the years, all the the Corvette racing guys back when I first got into racing and started going to Laguna Seca, and Corvette racing, one of the best teams, fan friendly as all get out. I talked about when I went to Sebring for the second time in 2007, and they were running out of time, and there was still a line at Corvette because they're very popular with the fans, and they were like, nope, we'll go and we'll be in a moment, but we're going to make sure everybody gets an autograph and greets us and all that. They are just that solidified to me. They will always be one of my favorite teams, if not because, well, they don't really race as much as they used to, but It was, for me, it was always a tie between Corvette Racing and Flying Lizard Motorsports, because they were a factory Porsche team, but they were based out of Sonoma. I think they still are, but they were one of the factory. They became a factory Porsche team, and so because they were considered like the home team. Yeah. See, that's one thing I wish I did before, and maybe I will one day. I'd like to go see a drag race. Matter of fact, somebody I knew in the guard had a tire from Tony Schumacher, from his drag racer, and he has an autograph on Tony Schumacher's autograph on the tire. But he used to go to a lot of the drag races there at Sonoma. But yeah, they are just, yeah. Although some people, they're very, what I noticed, some of the drivers are very friendly, like, especially, because of course they want to be friendly during the autograph session, but they don't want to be bothered otherwise, so it's kind of like they, but part of it too is reading. I call it, you kind of like reading the room. When a driver's super busy, don't interrupt them. Like if they're like in a serious conversation with their engineer or something like that, you don't want to go in there like, hey, can I get, no. Like I just happened to, like, I got a picture with Hurley Haywood. It was in the paddock there at Laguna Seca, and I happened to see him walking by, and my buddy from Southern California was there with me, and I said, hey, Mr. Haywood, can I get a picture with you? And so he stopped and took a picture with me. And but yeah, otherwise most of the drivers are, you just kind of like, but yeah. But they are usually, a lot of them, they're just like, especially when they're later in their career, they're just like happy to be there because they know they're not as competitive as they used to be, kind of thing. Let me pop outside here for a while since we do have I've been ignoring Spider Steve. I'm sorry, Spider. Yeah. Like, when I used to go to Laguna Seca for the American Le Mans Series race, turning to the left. Some of the teams, not all, like, obviously you wouldn't be able to go into the Audi area because they would have, at the time the R10 was very top of the line. They didn't want anybody really going near the car too much, unless you were like a VIP or a corporate sponsor or something like that. And so we'd go, like some of the smaller teams would, my buddy and I'd be walking around and just kind of looking in, and some of the smaller teams would say, hey, why don't you come in and look around for a few minutes? Not a big deal. This was end of the season, right? And they were just, and so we would, look around, you look in the car and, check out what they, because they weren't really doing anything. It wasn't like they had the hood up and, yes, yeah, exactly. And so, I'd do my, I'd look around, look in the car, get a picture next to the car kind of thing. And then I'd say, okay, well, good luck this weekend and all that. My buddy, on the other hand, would still be, and I'd be like, dude, come on, we don't want to overstay our welcome, because then that ruins it for everybody else, I think. Just go in there for a few minutes, look around, take a quick picture, wish them the best of luck for the weekend, and then leave. But he would kind of overstay his welcome sometimes. It's just like, no, dude, come on, they got stuff to do, They may just be sitting there chilling, but eventually they're going to start getting busy, and we don't want to be in the way. But yeah, it was. But I like that, being it, when some of the smaller teams, it was generally some of the smaller Porsche teams. They weren't like factory. Yeah, how's your mom? How's the family? How's grandma doing? But yeah, but it was usually like the smaller teams. Like you know, yeah. But I would sneak, like we'd walk around and I got a picture next to the Porsche or the Flying Lizards Porsche. It was sitting outside the garage area there because they'd done I think what it was is they had done like a team photo, was like the end of the year team photo, and so they had all the drivers and all the crew people kind of spread out around the drivers, and they had the cars kind of featured in there as well, and so they were still sitting out, and so I got a picture of the cars next to them. Yeah. Well, and see, there was one year, I think was it '07? It was one of the years when it was, I think it was the first or second season of the R10, and they were lining up, getting ready to go on the track at Laguna Seca. So they're all kind of parked in the paddock, but they're all lined up, waiting for the the okay to go on track to go on pit road, and then get set up for practice or whatever, right? And I'm walking by, and I'm taking pictures, and I've got a tripod with me. And so I've got the tripod kind of leaned up against me, and I'm thinking it's okay. And it slips, and it almost hit the R10, and my buddy looked at me like, dude, you're going to get us thrown out of here. What are you doing? And I caught it just in time, but I was like, I was so embarrassed. Like, I was like, oh my God, I almost put a dent in the side of the R10. Yeah, exactly. Oh crap. Yeah, I was like, oh my God. So after that, I always I laid it on the ground on my foot, so that way I knew I didn't forget it. Oh, but yeah, I was like, oh my God, I almost put yeah, they would have had to like get an extra piece out, and I probably would have been escorted out the track and banned for life. Oh man. But I miss going to Laguna Seca, especially like the historic races when things are popping in the paddock. They're moving cars to get ready for their practice session or whatever. This it's so alive there. There's no other feeling like it in the world. And everybody's jonesing that it's like that, the symphony before the battle, right? That's what it always seemed like. The drivers, they're driving to get to the pit road entry, and so like, hello Skip, how are you? Nice to see you here. And yeah, but I miss Laguna Seca. I went the first time I went there in '03 for the Champ Car race, and I was bit. Like, I was just like, this place is fantastic, and I didn't know. It was my first race, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stick right here. No, I was like, I could go all over the track. I didn't know that until years later, that basically, if you got a ticket, you can go pretty much anywhere and watch the race anywhere. And I was just like, oh man, I didn't know, so I was just like stuck, But yeah, once I knew, like my buddy and I, we met. We would always talk there at Laguna Seca, and we'd go all over the track. Like we'd show up and we'd have coffee and donuts while we were waiting for the gates to open, and then we'd go in and be like, okay, we'd have a whole like kind of it wasn't really planned. We'd say, let's go over here and try that, so we'd go all over the track, looking for places to take pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, once I knew it was like you can go anywhere as long as you have a ticket and you got the ticket on display. It doesn't necessarily mean you got to be in the grandstands. You can go up to the corkscrew. You can go wherever you could think of to try to take pictures, especially. The socksiest streamer on Twitch. That's today's flight, matter of fact, is brought to you by a Pair of Socks Airline. Just because you have a pair of socks does not mean they have to match. Just ask Scruffy while he's here. He'll tell you. Now, if you're going out for a business meeting, maybe you should make sure your socks match. But otherwise, you don't have to. If you're just around the house, you don't have to have matching socks on. All right. I need to drink some water here in a second once we're on our way to our next. Oh, I gotta dial that in. It is 11680. On a heading of 027. All right, there we are. This one should be 80 something nautical miles, so we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. Let's see. It says got to lurk for a bit. Got a couple drone photo jobs in a bit. I need to charge batteries and do the daily challenge flights on FS Hub. Oh, fair enough. Thank you. I'm glad to have you along, even if you're lurking. But yeah, I was thinking about that when I saw Derek Bell in that video, and they talked to. It was still when Sterling Moss was alive. He was part of the conversation. That for the drivers who had passed, like Damon Hill was there on behalf of his father. David Brabham was there on behalf of his father. Yeah, it was a really neat little documentary. I've been meaning to watch it for a while. I appreciate that. Try to make it a fun place to be. Things were getting so bad this morning with I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to log into Flight Sim this morning. I was almost set to cancel the flight today, and I didn't really want to do that, but technological issues almost forced me to. Get a little off track there. Let's see. Spider Steve is still hanging out. And the second Junkers there. He's in the standard model. Headed to North Dakota. Once we're on the ground, we'll wrap things up for the day. Be back tomorrow in the Cirrus SR-22, departing from Flagstaff Pulliam and heading to Kingman, Arizona. We'll get that flight knocked out tomorrow. Friday in the A319 United Airlines nonstop service from Chicago to Newark Liberty. That will be live weather. No telling what to expect. Maybe snowy. Who knows? We'll find out. Should be an interesting flight. I'm glad I tanked this thing all the way up because I think we're going to need every drop. Yeah, thank you all for coming and hanging out today. The last Wednesday of 2022. Can't believe the year is coming to an end already. Don't know where the time went. Oh, funny thing. I was somebody. So for those of you who do not know, before Flight Sim became the featured content here on the channel, I was doing a lot of Train Sim World 2. And this morning when I was getting up, I happened to notice that I had somebody had commented on one of my way old, I don't know how old this video was. Let's go have a look, see here. It was way back in. It was London Commuter, so it had to been towards sometime in. Let's see. It was 9 months ago. Wow. Well, earlier this year. So this person asked me, "Can you drive a GWR or Southeastern train on this route?" I was like, wow, I didn't even think that, most people at this would have said something for a stream from 9 months ago, or not a stream but a video from 9 months ago. But I'm just like, well, there's a I'm like, yeah, you can do it this way, but I'm like, wow, I haven't been on Train Sim World 2 in ages, not since Train Sim World 3's come out. I haven't been on Train Sim World 2, but I had to think about it at first. I'm like, I know there's a way to do it, but how did I done it before? But yeah, 9 months ago. I'll be back. Yeah, because I was still doing some train stuff. I was alternating between the trains and flying, and then I just decided to make flying the number one content on the channel. I should do a Train Sim World 3 video. I've done one. Do something a little different. But see, there's no. The only thing is, there's no multiplayer aspect to that, and people have been asking for one to be. They want multiplayer on there, and I'm just like, why? What? Why would you want multiplayer in a game that doesn't, Because then it's like you're assigning duties. It seems, and then that will just turn into a very contentious issue. Maybe we'll do a freight service on Cajon Pass. Get some heavy freight, some big tonnage. I haven't done a train stream in quite some time. You know, it's funny. I just thinking about it. Boy, the American freight routes garner so. I'm just gonna. It is what it is. It's hate. Boy, there's some people in Europe that absolutely hate American freight routes and trains. Not even a little bit of a dislike. Absolute hate. I don't know why, but they sure do. I don't know, I like them because they're once you get the train going, you can just kind of sit back and chill. It'll take a while to get to the destination because they're not the fastest trains, you know. But it it's kind of like when you get the first time you get a jetliner started up and you fly from one place to another, because you think it's going to be complicated, and it's really not. You know, we tend to make it complicated. But just like in the American freight stuff, once you get that train moving, it's like the greatest feeling in the world. Maybe I'll do that on maybe this Sunday we'll do a New Year's Day, we'll do a train stream. We'll move some freight there on Cajon Pass. Maybe we'll do that. 63 nautical miles, just under 64. And then we got one more big chunk and then we're done. And then, yeah. Next one will be 110 nautical miles after this. We're doing good. If we're gonna do that long haul flight on the 7th, I gotta get some supplies set aside for food wise and all that, so that I have. That's going to be about an 11-hour flight. That's going to be at least a 12-hour stream. Because if we get started and then go get the aircraft started and push back and taxi out to the departure. So yeah, we're probably closer to 12 hours of stream total. It's been a hot minute since I've flown the Dreamliner. I guess I could do the 747. We might do that. You know what the heck, why not? I mean, it's still a heavy. We wouldn't be on the pond. It would. JAL would be the. Matter of fact, very few airlines do it non-stop. Most of them go from San Francisco to Hawaii, and then you change planes to Hawaii to continue on to Japan. I can't imagine that they're selling out seats to make it worth their while to go non-stop to Japan. Yeah, maybe we'll do this. Since the 747, they're no longer producing them. Production has ended. I think the older ones have been converted to cargo haulers. Maybe we'll do it in some things, just for nostalgia's sake. I do have a livery for JAL. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll just pick the flight number. We'll just use the same flight number. It just won't be the correct aircraft. We'll depart from the same gate, or at least the same terminal as the JAL flight would. Maybe we'll just do it. Some of them are doing it in the 777, which is surprising. They're doing nonstop using the 777, but I'm not downloading Captain Sim's stuff. No. Captain Sim has not updated any of their products, so. As some people call it, Captain Scam. Turn off the. Oh, we'll leave it on dim, just in case we fly through any clouds and it gets dark in the flight deck here. QQ Real in the Cessna 172. Don't know if they're flying with us or. Let's see, we have. Oops, 51, almost 50 nautical miles to our next navigation point here, which is a URD. And again, if you don't know what all those are, it's okay. You don't have to know when you're flying along with me. But if you want an explanation as to what everything is, Google is your friend. You could probably, there's a way to find it there. To understand what each navigation aid is. a little bit off track here. Just a tad. Probably going to refresh the stream here. Hello, Mela. How are you? Nice to see you here. I had pasta for dinner last night. Pasta. Nothing fancy, just a bowl of pasta. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, if we're gonna do that on the 7th, I'm gonna have to some protein bars or something. Just to keep my energy up. I'm doing okay, yeah. Just, we're making our way to Bismarck, North Dakota, I believe it is. Just pasta. Nothing exciting. I was going to have the Joseph Adams diet, you know, 20 cheeseburgers, soda, bags of marshmallows, beer. What else? Some meat, a meat pie, some more cheeseburgers. And one sip of water. I was thinking about that. I don't think I can have a proper meat pie here in America. Well, maybe QQ Real is trying to catch up to us. I don't know. Probably can, because we're not going that fast. 172, you could probably squeeze a little bit of speed out of it. Going to Bismarck, North Dakota. We'll be landing on the longest runway of the options available to us. All right, looks like we have 38 nautical miles. Alright, I think I'm going to take this opportunity. Let me get back to the chat here. Wakey, wakey. I think I'm going to take a moment away here for just the view outside there. I'll be right back. Yeah, Vodaloka. I don't. I'll work hard to improve my channel myself. So, no thanks. I'm back, by the way. There we go. Got rid of that. Yeah, if you put stuff like that in my chat, you're just going to get blocked immediately, so tell your friends, tell your loved ones, tell the librarian. I don't care. Tell whoever you got to tell, but no, you're not going to come into my chat and put that kind of crap. Hard work pays off eventually. May not in the short run. Eventually it will pay off. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm trying to be infamous, not famous. I'm trying to be more than famous. I'm trying to be infamous. It's more than famous. You're infamous. It's a whole nother level. Lumella? Channel has grown. We have 200 followers. Just trying to put quality content. Try to be a good person as best as I can, even on the days where I don't feel like being one. But anyway, if I don't think I can do it, I won't stream. That's the rule. Try to be a good person. I don't think I'm going to make it that day. Nope. A little chilly outside. Heat on those cars. Not that we have the ice on, but just like I said before, we're just trying to get those. That was a me just double check something. 127. Alright, we're heading the road. Wow. Make sure we're on. Yep. That's it. 22 nautical miles. We're almost there, folks. We got one more giant leg to do, and then we'll be all done for the day. We greatly appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out. Young Joseph has fallen asleep. He's buggered off to another stream somewhere on the tuba view. Can't entertain him for forever. Oh, I guess we lost the Cessna 172 back there somewhere. They weren't trying to catch up. So young Joseph has gotten himself Farming Sim 22. FIFA 23. Can't wait for him to start streaming FIFA 23 and start cursing. Calling the game broken. The usual stuff. So, young Addies, are you still in the chat? Yes, still, maybe. Say hello in the chat if you're still here, please and thank you. So I have a question for you. But I want to ask it so that I know that you're here. He might have buggered off. Let's see. Well, I know he'll pop in there towards the end just as soon as we're getting ready to go on the final approach. I'll show that. But I have a question. Yeah, he was here at the beginning, here for a little bit. And he said hello. He said hello to Bex. He said hello to. Well, he said hello to you, Bella. So he's been here, but I don't know. He may have said he may have buggered off. It's well after lunchtime, so it's not like unless he's eating a late lunch or maybe he's down at the shop causing trouble. I don't know. Never know with him. Well, he said hello to Scruffy too, now that I think of it. He's been here, but I don't know if he's here right now. Joseph, young Joseph, where are you? So I have a question for him regarding FS22. Well, slash question slash comment. There we go. He's taking a nap. Yeah, you might be right, Nick. He might be. Might be. Yeah. Yeah. He'll probably pop in. He usually pops in right just But I have a question for him regarding FS22 because he was talking about it the other day. And Bex and Pulse conspired together to get it for him. I say that joke. Inspired. But yeah, I have a question regarding that. Basically, the question is, does he have a plan for a farm? What is his goals? What does he want to do? What is he looking to create as far as a farm goes? Because I have a feeling, and I could be wrong, but I have a feeling he's going to say, I want to do what Mick's doing. That'd be my guess. That does require a lot of work, and Mick's been on his farm. He'll go on there off stream, and sometimes that's what is required if you're going to have a multiplayer farm. There's going to be the stuff that you're going to do during the stream, and then there's going to be stuff that you're going to do off stream. And sometimes that means you're going to do that part by yourself, which is okay. But I just want to know if he has some kind of a idea of what he wants to do. Excuse me, I need to clear my throat in your ear. I don't mind helping. It's just that I like to have some idea of what the plan is. If there isn't a plan, at least then okay, well, let's try to come up with some idea of what we're going to do. It's not just it's not well, it can be easy. Once you get everything going, it can be very easy. Oh, Mick, when you finally sign back in on the farm, all those boxes that are going to be produced, hopefully there'll be stuff waiting. Maybe. Turn that in for some even more money. I'm really looking forward to getting back on the farm with you whenever you're ready. Yeah, I think this Sunday, maybe we'll do a stream Sunday morning. Maybe the usual time. We'll do a Train Sim World 3 stream. We'll be on the Cajon Pass. We'll do a freight service. We'll call it a day. Maybe after this, I gotta get the next two legs for Monday and Tuesday next week. No stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. But then Saturday, I think we'll do a 747 flight. I'm thinking about it now. We'll do a 747, even though nobody flies it. Yeah, we'll do it in the 747. Do that on the 7th. That'll be at the normal time. It's going to be a long stream. So if you want to fly along, you're more than welcome to. If not, it's quite okay. All right, we'll get the last 1565. So if you want to think about it, or if you're not sure, you don't want to do the whole thing. I don't think we're going to fly near Hawaii on the flight. I think we'll be north of Hawaii. I think. Could be wrong. If you want to fly maybe to Hawaii, you can do that. Next. Five, 6, 5. Alright, so we're not picking that one up yet. Lately, it seems like what happens is we get it about halfway into our leg there. Then we get the signal, but we'll see. We got the other ones fairly easily, but this is a VOR DME too, also. So, we'll see how. Pick that up. This is 110 nautical miles. This is our last leg. Once we pick up the signal, then we'll know how much farther we got to go. I'm guessing it'll probably be earliest would be maybe after 10 nautical miles. Let's see, when does our altitude? 1,661 feet. To the airport. We need to probably be at about 3,000 feet. So, once we are ready to land. Shoot for 3,000. Be safe. A safe place to be. Thank you, Spider Steve, for flying along today. Appreciate it. Nice to have you along here. Let's have write down a few things here so I have all right. Just trying to make some notes so that some stuff to work on. Put the flights together for next week, Monday and Tuesday. Ooh, bit off course there. Still no signal yet. Yeah, thank you for all the follows today and yesterday. Hopefully we're going to have great things happening here in 2023. We'll be back tomorrow, 6:45 Eastern, 11:45 UTC/UK, in the Cirrus SR-22, departing from Flagstaff Pulliam and heading to Kingman. We're definitely going to need. I almost didn't fill it all the way up, but I'm glad we did, because we're at 50% roughly now, fuel-wise. Still got quite a bit of ways to go, I believe. That's pretty far out, so we're not even halfway into the, maybe not even a quarter of the way into the this lake. Let's see, I can't even send him a message on Discord anymore because apparently he doesn't have Discord. Although his name still shows up on my channel or my Discord. I guess maybe he just deleted it off his phone. I don't know. Yeah, we'll do some train sim on Sunday. Do some freight. We got ads coming up. Oop, I just missed something. A little off track here. Maybe spider scooted over the top there and just saw the just trying to do a couple things at the same time here. Alrighty. Still no signal. So yeah, I'm guessing we'll be about halfway in. We'll have about 50 or 60 nautical miles left to our destination. By the time we receive the signal, start descending to about 3,000 feet. We'll call in the Bismarck there and tell them we're coming in for landing and put it on the ground, park it. We'll be done. JL's on the A terminal. Figure out why I've been so slow. Forgot mixture. Feels like I just get. Yeah. Oops, Daisy. I'm going offline. Off the beaten path. Yeah, that. See, I used to have auto mixture on, and what I discovered was that's if you're going to fly more realistically in the future, relying on that it won't really help you. So yeah, I've been trying to be cognizant, especially when we're up in altitude, to mix it, to lean the mixture to get a little bit more oomph out of the engines. But I forget that sometimes. In fact, there's been times where I forgot to put up the flaps. And it's like I'm still flying with the flaps down even at 10 degrees. Why is the thing just acting like this? Oh yeah, forgot to put the flaps back up. Let's see where we are now. So not quite halfway yet. Well, yeah. I wish this thing had retractable gear, but nah. I don't think any of the Junkers ever had retractable. And I guess it would make sense because back then, if you couldn't drop the gear, you know, you were going to end up with a crash landing. And all that bare metal, all the metal would just spark, and then you'd have a huge crash. So I guess it makes sense to have the gear down permanently. But so yeah, we're still on our way. We're making our way. Not quite halfway there. I think we're about a quarter now. So maybe just a little bit longer, and we should pick up that signal and know what we got left to do. Wait. When is your? Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the. We'll do another leg of the Route 66 stuff. It'll be leg 12, Flagstaff to Kingman, Arizona. So still be in Arizona, and then Friday will be the last stream of 2022. We'll be doing the Chicago to Newark Liberty, being the A319 United Airlines flight. And then Sunday will be the first stream of 2023. New Year's Day, I will be on Train Sim World 3. We'll do a freight service there on Cajon Pass. Do some freight haulage. We'll do one service there, and then Monday we'll be back in the Eucharist 52. I gotta see where we're going from Bismarck, and then Tuesday we'll go from wherever we head to on Monday will be Tuesday's flight, and then no stream Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and then Saturday I think we're gonna do. I feel fairly confident we can do the long haul flight. It'll be Japan Airlines departing from I almost said Chicago, San Francisco. We're heading to Tokyo in the 747. Got the gate information. It's just that the only thing that won't be realistic will be the fact that we're doing it in the 747. Most airlines are now doing it. If they're doing it nonstop, they're doing it in the Dreamliner. Or they're doing it. You fly from San Francisco to Honolulu and change planes in Honolulu and continue on to Japan from there. Some airlines are even doing it in the 777-200. They can make it in that. But I am not flying Captain Scam flight. So no, we still have tomorrow and Friday. Monday or Sunday will be the officially unofficial, whatever you want to call it, stream of 23 over there on Pass and Train Sim. Just to do something a little bit different in the new year. If you want to see some train action, tune in this Sunday. Will not be fast. Although I think there's going to be parts where we're going to have to get on the brakes, otherwise we're going to have a runaway train, but we don't want that. So we'll do that. Something different. But yeah, after I wrap this up, I just got to get the next two legs put in for next week. Figure out where we're going to go next. Alright, it says we're... It knows we're heading there. So it's just that we've not... Did I dial in the right? Maybe... Let me double check my... 11565. Let me just double check. Oh, that's correct. This may not be a very powerful VORDME. Southwest done 737. Yeah. So basically, what I'm doing, Steve, is whenever I'm doing jetliner flights, I use a. Let me make sure I've got it on my pod here. What's it called? There we go. Basically what it does is, so if you go to the page, if you click on that link, right, and so you say your departure airport is San Francisco and your arrival, your destination is Tokyo, so KSFO, so Romeo Juliet Tango Tango, and it'll tell you all the flights, including, you can even look at, like, I think even for free, you don't have to have an account, but it'll tell you, like, the the sites, or when the flight left and when it arrived and stuff like that. It would generally give you a gate assignment for the flight. So what I've been doing it, oh, there we go. See, I was about right, 60 nautical, so just under 60 nautical miles to go. So basically what I've been trying to do is trying to find, I use that for my jetliner stuff so that I have like we depart from the gate or as close to that assigned gate as possible. And then the only thing that I look up afterwards is like I use another site called planespotter.net, and this one will tell you, so if you go to that one, so let's say you go to Japan Airlines, it'll show you all their current aircraft that they use on their routes, and then you can go look under historic aircraft that they've had for their company, so then you can get the tail code for that particular, so like say for Japan Airlines, I could find a tail code for a 747. Now it may not be a -8 intercontinental, but it'd be close enough that if I put that tail code in, it should give me a correct call sign for Japan Airlines. And then all I do then is add in the flight number from FlightAware. And then so it adds a bit more realism. Just like, this aircraft flew under Deutsche Lufthansa, but if I put that in, it'll be all one word. It won't have the Lufthansa. There in the past there used to be a break between the Luft and the Hansa. That was, back when this was under the Third Reich, Lufthansa flew, the original Lufthansa. So I try to add a little bit more realism to it when possible. So that's what I use. Now there are times where it's like, I want to fly, but there is no service, real world service between one airport to the other. So then it's just like, well, then like, okay, what can I fly that would be the closest airline that would possibly do that flight, with all the airline liveries that I have available to me on the Xbox. So but Japan Airlines, JAL, is the one of the liveries for the 747 that I have. So I was gonna do it in the Dreamliner, but I'm like, no, let's do it in the 747. Even though real world wise, nobody flies it there. I don't know many airlines fly the 747 anywhere now. I think most everybody's gone to the Dreamliner or the A380. I think has the only uh, companies that use the 747 now are for cargo. But I could be wrong. Oh, somebody unfollowed. What? I broke somebody's heart. Oh well. What can I do? Oh well. I don't know what I did to deserve that, but okay. we were at 200 for so long, and somebody's like, I can't be bothered. Oh well. Can't please everybody. So yeah, I use those to add a bit of a sense of realism to the flight, whenever possible. At least the flight number, tail code for the aircraft, so that hopefully we have the right call sign, that sort of thing. So. Can't be everybody's cup of tea. That's what I've learned over the years. I don't know when people are going to give up appreciating you. That's okay. Hold on a second. This side, close the side. Mostly older rooms. Okay. Thank you. Oh, excellent. Wow. That is a lot of information. Cool. Thank you. That will definitely help out. I think for sure once I'm on the get on the PC and we have access to like the DC-6 and stuff like that, the older aircraft, that will help because certainly we could fly out of the modern airports, but you know, we'll try to have a timetable. Or, you know, yeah, that will help, and maybe even for the older Lufthansa routes. Once I'm done with this tour across America in the Junkers 52, we'll get back to some classic Lufthansa routes. We did one earlier in the year. We went from Berlin to I think the final destination was Greece. I think I did that in a couple of flights. It took a week. Went from one point to the other. You know, just flew parts of the route each day until we got to Greece. But now, one of the things that is out there, and I don't know, I'm half tempted to do it, and I'm a bit reluctant because when you have add-on airports, for whatever reason, it screws up the ground aircraft stuff. So but there is a 1935 Berlin Tempelhof airport that's for sale in the marketplace. So that would add a bit of realism if we did, like, flew out of Berlin heading somewhere. I know they did used to fly to somewhere in the UK prior to, because what I understand, the Lufthansa pilots back then, the Deutsche Lufthansa pilots, were also pilots for the Luftwaffe, and so they were basically spying on Britain. They would fly. They were still doing airline services from, like, Berlin to London, and the pilots were military pilots, really, and so they were taking notes of you know, military. They were doing military intelligence basically from the air, and but yeah, but that, I think that they did that flight all. They would go from, there was a couple stops along the way. So in theory, what we could do is, if we were going to recreate that, we could take off from Berlin and stop off along the way for fuel or whatever, and then get back up in the air and head towards our next destination. Do all that on a stream. That would be a lot of flying on a stream, because, you know, this plane obviously is not the fastest plane in the world. All right, 36. Let's see if we're on the list. The first page. Oops, back. I hate when it does that. There it is, on the second page. We can go ahead and call in. I think we can go ahead and start dropping some altitude here. Our running lights on. So yeah, we could do it for that, if we want to. Um, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Let's see. I gotta look at the layout of our airports. I kind of have an idea where we're coming in at for left base. So basically, we're gonna so, all right, I have an idea as to how the layout of the airport is. So probably what we'll do is we'll at least fly to our VOR DME there by the airport. We'll go past the airport, and we'll do a wide left turn, then come into the approach or pattern, and then we'll land. So kind of like a bit of a spiral, kind of a spiral. So, but yeah, we could do that. Maybe on the stream one, just do on a. But we still got a lot of flying left to do on this little tour across America in Yonkers 52. Yeah, maybe sometime in the new year we'll do a Berlin to London or something like that. But if the only problem is going to be is if I do that, then it's like add-on scenery, and it's you have to pay for that if you're going to fly the flight with me. If not, then it's going to be you're not going to have the same. That's the only other drawback of doing stuff in a historical aspect. Just like when I did the flight from Amsterdam all the way to Indonesia, a lot of the airports no longer exist, or they've been turned into military airports, military airfields, and so then you don't get any, you don't have any kind of information as far as the. I think there's one that it's I couldn't find it on Sky Vector, so I had to kind of like do a lot of dead reckoning and just hope that I got to. I couldn't figure out there was no VOR DME, nothing that would give me an indication of a heading once I take off. Which way do I need to turn the aircraft? So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, but you know. But luckily I can pick airports that are what I'm trying to do is take off, or I'm trying to land especially at airports that I've not been to yet. It's easy to land, of course, the bigger airport names like San Francisco or Los Angeles or whatever, but try to land at the lesser known, or not lesser known, but the ones that I've not really ever visited or been to. So I'll save that as in my flight sim tab on my folder for Microsoft Flight Sim links. Yeah, that will definitely help in the near future. All right. So we're coming up for landing. Oh, no, I don't think we missed out on anything. I don't usually, I don't plan touch and goes because normally my streams are not long enough to where it's like, oh, I want to fly over this, do a touch and go. I mean, I may add that sometime in the next year if I start flying longer distances. But for me, it's more I want to because part of it is um, I want to make sure that it counts towards the 500 airports for landing, 500 different airports. So if I don't have that, then I won't get that achievement. So I think it has to be a full stop landing. I don't know if it counts as a touch and go kind of thing. But normally if I fly somewhere, it's usually I try to do it where it's like I'm going there to land and wrap the stream up for the day. Because for me, part of it is that uh, the times that I fly work for me if I have an appointment later in the day. But what I'm trying to get away from is if I stream, even if it's like later in the morning, if I stream in the morning, then it's like I always feel like I'm rushing, and that's when all kinds of problems happen, and then it's like I'm rushing to get out the door on time for my appointment. So I'm trying to get away from that as well. Um, so that's one of the issues that I'm trying to work around. So, because sometimes all right, I see are we zoomed too far out, or we zoomed in just right? Fuck. I wanted to zoom So yeah, part of it's like a time constraint for me. But I know Scruffy does a lot of touch and goes on his streams. That's part of his thing, because he plans it out. His streams are generally a bit longer than mine, but he'll say we're going to do a touch and go, or we're stopping here for fuel, or that gives him a chance to use the bathroom and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a bit of a personal choice for me, I guess, and how I fly the route and all that. So put a little bit more pumped in the mixture here. But if you're flying along and you want to do a stop and go, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, if you want to do a touch and go, that's what you feel like you want to do, go for it. Far be it from me to tell you you can't. Just like if people fly with me on the 7th, if you don't want to go all the way to Tokyo, right? You just want to go to Honolulu, you can put a flight plan in for Honolulu and fly. But it may be, though, that we're not going to be on the... Oh, that's fine. After a while, I may not see you on the screen. So, yeah. Anybody wants whatever you feel like you want to do. I can't stop you. And I guess, and I get that you were kind of making a joke there, Steve. Part of the problem I've had since I've been streaming, and maybe other streamers have experienced the same thing. Um, when I first started flying, there we go. There's our pattern entry. So yeah, we'll swoop around and we'll get the pattern over there. Um, a lot of people, and I noticed this too in Scruffy's stream when he was on the Cannonball run. I call it a lot of Monday morning pilots, right? Everybody has a way that they do things, and then they start going into somebody's stream. Oh, you should do it like this, or yada yada yada. And part of it is you know, I don't expect to be an expert at this. The mic is getting low. I think I'm talking right into my mic. It's not. But anyway, so what happens is lots of people would come in and say, "Oh, you should do it like this. You should do it like that." But one of the things I notice is they're not ones that are streaming the sim, right? They'll tell everybody how they should fly, but they'll never go and do their own stream. Why? Because they wouldn't appreciate if somebody did that to them, right? So, you know, and that's I like, well, and I think most streamers, like, look, if you whatever you want to fly, come in and fly it, whether you want to fly a fighter jet, whatever. I can't, you know, of course it's nicer when everybody's flying the same plane, but I can't expect that, you know. And I told people before, like, look, if you want to fly the Junkers, fly it, but don't spend money just to fly the same plane as me. I don't want anybody to spend money on it. If you don't have it, it's okay. Fly whatever you feel comfortable flying, you know. So, so yeah, but yeah, everybody always has suggestions, and if it's something that's like, you know what, that's not a bad idea. A bad idea, I'll consider it. But generally, I have a method to my madness, I guess, just like every streamer does, and I respect that. You know, like I wouldn't go in anybody's stream and say, oh, you should do it like this. You know, if they're struggling, it's like, oh, if you do this, this, and this, it should solve the problem. But that's, you know, generally before I even say anything, other people will offer a similar suggestion to one that I was going to make. But I'm very cognizant of the fact that not everybody is going to fly the same, you know, and everybody should respect that. So hopefully you can hear me now. I don't know what happened. I didn't change anything. I don't know what would have happened to turn the mic volume down. But part of it too is sifting through like a legitimate what do you call it? Like, somebody has the suggestion, like if I was struggling and somebody had like a legit suggestion that would help me out, then I'd certainly go like, oh yeah, okay, this makes sense. But other times it's just like, I think people come in, they want streamers to do things the way that they wanted to do it. And I tried that. You know, people say, well, can you do a flight from... So I tried viewer requested flights, and then all of a sudden very few, all the people that wanted me to fly certain places, they wouldn't say a word. So it's like, well, I give you the opportunity, but then the opposite end is, well, it was always the same locations. We'll fly from here to here. Okay, I'll do it. And then I would do it. Well, but did you fly it? Yeah. Well, I wasn't here. wasn't here when it was live. Well, I can't. How is that my problem? I have a schedule. So yeah, I've tried. I guess in a way I've driven myself nuts trying to keep the viewers happy, and then it's just like, they're never not everybody's ever going to be satisfied, right? That's the unfortunate truth. And so I just do the best I can with what I got. If people don't appreciate it, well, then that's on them. I can't change that. Hello, Mind Quack. Yeah, exactly, and I that's why I tried. I tried all kinds of different stuff just to see if it would get viewers, but then or what would happen is I do the route for them, right, and then they would never come back, and so after a while I'm just like, well, if I'm going to come in, I'm investing my time. If you can't invest the time in return to be here on a regular basis, then I don't know what to say, you know. So, yeah, but just do the best I can. That's all I can do. Try to enjoy the flying and all that. All right, let's get ready to get lined up. Our pattern entries over there. We still got quite a bit of altitude to drop there. So we'll get lined up here in a moment, and I'm going to have to turn away from the chat. So I apologize. I'm going to get us on the ground, and we can catch up with the chat. So but now with FS Hub also, what I'm trying to do is whenever possible, and I'll stream it. That's why every alternate Friday we'll do a jetliner flight. I'm trying to fly places because now it's also a matter of visiting countries that, even though I've been there, but it's not, I didn't do it under FS Hub, so now I'm trying to tick off some countries along the way as well. Like I want to do a flight from Algiers to Morocco, but there isn't a real world airline flight that goes from Algiers to Morocco, so I have to kind of come up with flying an airliner delivery that would possibly do the flight, maybe, or just kind of, I know Algiers was a French colony. So if I do it in a Air France livery A320 at least, then what did somebody ask something? I didn't see what. Well, I've been streaming for 3 hours and 16 minutes. So it's probably going to be, the flight total will be about almost 3 hours. Yeah, probably by the time we can land. Yeah, I usually start at 6:45 in the morning East Coast time, and we go as long as it takes us to get to our destination. On Mondays and Wednesdays, typically I fly the Junkers 52. We're doing a tour across America. Today is leg 32 of that. Tomorrow we'll be doing a flight from Flagstaff Pulliam to Kingsman, be in Arizona. And then Friday we're doing a flight from Chicago to Newark Liberty in the A319. So it's called the Junkers 52. It's an old German plane that was created in the 1930s. This is what they call the retrofit model. It has more, like, this console is part of it, all these new modern avionics. This was an add-on for free this little tablet here. It doesn't really do anything other than give you a map kind of a thing, or you can see your flight plan. It doesn't have an autopilot feature or anything. So yeah, it's an old. It flew in Germany during the Third Reich. Junkers, the man who created these aircraft, basically all of his ideas were taken from him by the German government and to be used for the war by the Third Reich. So he had no part in it. He didn't want his stuff to be used for the war. Yeah, that's there's Scruffy. Hello, welcome back. So yeah, I flew this. I did a flight from Berlin to Greece, which was a real world Deutsche Lufthansa flight. And then when I started on a KLM route from Amsterdam to Indonesia, the Fokker F7B was not up to the snuff. So I pressed the Junkers back in, and we got that done. We flew the rest of the way in the Junkers 52. So yeah, we're just. Definitely, boy. I was right about 3,000 feet. We still have a lot of altitude to dump off here. We're just gonna have to. Everybody's gonna have to hold on to their seats and go for a roller coaster ride here. We'll have to get as flat as possible here. There we go. All right. Should have been dumping altitude a lot earlier. Yo, crusty salute. Catch up with the chat once we're on the ground and got the aircraft under control. I think the Junkers 52 for me is kind of like the 172 is for a lot of the streamers. I know Scruffy loves his 172. I know Captain Arash loves his 172. I guess I have the same love affair here with the Junkers 52. Well, it's got a very long. One of the runways do kind of cross each other. I think there's one runway that's going left or right in front of us there. So we got a long area here to get over before we can, in theory, set down correctly, safely. Yep, there's the other runway right there. Right? This one. This is perfect. As long as we can get past that little... There we go. All right. All right, folks. Little bump coming up here. Oof. Oops. Here we are. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, we'd like to welcome you to Bismarck, North Dakota. Local time, I do believe, is 8:12 in the morning. We understand and appreciate the fact that it is Wednesday, the last Wednesday of 2022. We appreciate those of you who were able to come in and hang out with us today. Joseph. Spider Steve right behind there. So we'll park and we'll shut everything down. We'll wrap things up. We'll be back tomorrow in the Cirrus SR-22, departing from Flagstaff Pulliam and heading to Kingsman. So do join us for that if you so desire. Where are we going? Oh, the general aviation is down this way, I think. It is currently 10:14 in the morning here on East Coast time. So one of the things I do try to do is one of those cheesy announcements like they did, when you land at an airport somewhere, they try to give you the local time and thank you for flying with them today and blah, 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 all that good stuff. But I don't know if it was butter or not. See, since I don't have the landing rate monitor on the Xbox, I can't really say when it's butter. It may be butter. It's possible, but I never. It's hard to say. Yeah, there is a bit of a long area there. That's the only drawback. That's how it is in the real world, but. We made it. Here we go. I couldn't imagine, like, if this was a real world tour across America to Junkers 52, how would people react to seeing this plane landing at their local airport? I think it'd be fantastic, but it did look like a butter. Well, it sometimes they do. Sometimes they do, but I never, since I don't know really my landing rate, it's hard to say for sure, but it wasn't too bad. And part of it is also because I'm on the Xbox Series S, and I'm using the standard controller when I fly, I probably have developed a lot of bad habits. Really what I need to be doing is coming in and keeping the tail up and just bleed off the speed, but then keep the tail off the ground and keep bleeding the speed off, and then the tail will settle on its own. I've been coming in at a very, I think I usually coming in at a wrong angle when I land, because it's almost like the tail's touching down at the same time as the. Can't believe exactly. There we go, Fabio. Can't believe it's not butter. Talking about Fabio earlier. Oops. I did not want to get full. Oh well. All right. We're gonna stop it right there. Let's go ahead and turn this off. And let's go ahead and turn our lights off. And oh, stop the engines there. But yeah, we made it good fuel economy, I think. We did okay on the fuel. All right, there's battery 1, battery 2. Well, thanks, Scruff. 3 hours and 9 minutes of flying. Not too bad. It did say that we were supposed to be there, but it was going to take about 3 hours 45, but I think that was an overestimation on the part of the what do you call it? The flight sim. But yeah, we did pretty good. So let me just go ahead and put this in real quick, and we'll wrap things up. 12 o'clock, and we went to this, and we landed at 15:10. See, the other thing too is I can't change the landing rate in flight in the FS Hub, Scruff. Not that I think that's something that it's just like a average sort of thing, apparently. But there we go. So that is submitted for Parasocks Airlines. Parasocks, just because you have a pair of socks does not mean they have to match. So that will do it for today, folks. Thank you all for coming in. Yeah, that was the end. Thank you for the follow. So we're back up to 200. Yay! Look at that. We were at 200 and somebody left. I guess I wasn't their cup of tea, whatever you want to call it. But there we are. So we'll be back tomorrow, 6:45 Eastern, 11:45 UTC/UK. Oh, look at them. We're going right into, and it's going to do ads right as I'm ending. Yeah, you're welcome, Spider Steve. I'll type that in because I think most people may not be able to hear me. No. You're welcome, Joseph. For those who can hear me still, hopefully you can. Anyway, that will do it for today. I will see you all tomorrow in the Cirrus SR22. Do enjoy the rest of your Wednesday morning, afternoon, evening, early Thursday for some of you folks in the world. Who knows, those time zones will get you. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot, Uncle B. Until tomorrow, peace. Live long and prosper.